They say Rome fell because of barbarian invasions, but what if that's not the real story? What if the empire didn't crumble from the outside, but from something far more dangerous within? Rome's collapse wasn't sudden. It was slow, silent, and inevitable. The cracks began long before the first barbarian set foot on Roman soil. At its height, Rome was unstoppable, its armies unmatched, its wealth unimaginable. The city shone with marble and gold, a symbol of power that stretched across continents. But behind that brilliance, something darker was growing. The heart of Rome was beginning to rot. Greed replaced discipline, pleasure replaced purpose. And the same values that had built the empire began to tear it apart. The emperors became drunk with power, fighting another for the throne while the people starved. Assassinations, civil wars, and political schemes turned the empire into chaos. Loyalty had a price, and everyone, from soldiers to senators, was for sale. Rome was no longer a republic of ideals, it was an empire of corruption. Once, Roman legions were symbols of strength and unity. But in the later years, soldiers were no longer proud defenders of the empire. They were paid mercenaries, fighting not for honor, but for gold. And when the gold ran out, so did their loyalty. The army that once conquered the world began to crumble from within, leaving the borders weak and undefended. Inside the city, luxury became the new god. Citizens who once valued duty and discipline now demanded entertainment and comfort. Bread and circuses kept them distracted from the truth. Gladiator games and public feasts became more important than governance. The spirit of Rome, once fierce and noble, drowned in indulgence and apathy. The economy, too, began to decay. To fund wars and excess, the emperors debased the currency, mixing silver with cheap metals until Roman coins were nearly worthless. Inflation soared, trade faltered, poverty spread. The rich grew richer, the poor starved, and the foundation of society began to crack. Even religion shifted. The old gods of Rome lost their power over the people's hearts, replaced by new beliefs and divided faiths. Unity gave way to conflict, superstition, and fear. The empire that once believed it was eternal began to lose faith in itself. By the time the so-called barbarian invasions began, Rome was already a hollow shell. The Goths and Vandals didn't destroy a thriving empire, they simply stepped over the ashes of one already burning. The city that once ruled the world had forgotten how to rule itself. The fall of Rome wasn't about swords or sieges. It was about decay, moral, political, and spiritual. It was about a people who stopped believing in their own greatness. When the gates finally fell, there was no resistance, no fight, no glory. There was only silence. Rome didn't die because of outsiders. It died because its own people lost what made them Roman. They forgot discipline, unity, sacrifice, the very values that built their empire. And in the end, that forgetfulness was fatal. Every great civilization carries the same warning within it. The moment a nation starts trading integrity for comfort, strength for luxury, and purpose for pleasure, its fall has already begun. Rome wasn't defeated, it decayed. This is the truth behind the greatest empire's collapse. Not the story of invaders at the gates, but the slow, tragic death of people who thought they could never fall. Rome didn't burn in a single day. It faded, piece by piece, from the inside out. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson history gives us. Every empire falls the moment it forgets what made it strong. Rome didn't die in battle, it died in silence.